More on what's happening here at the U.S. Capitol. Joining us this morning is Matt Gaetz' fellow U.S. Congressman from Florida, Carlos Giménez.
Yes, good morning, Congressman. He's here to discuss the divide within the Republican Party and how it affects South Florida. So we do appreciate you being here today. So let's just dive right into that historic vote to oust Kevin McCarthy there. You voted to keep him. So I want to understand how you view Congressman Gaetz' motive here to oust him.
Selfish. Pure and selfish. He's getting a lot of press time. Obviously, you know, even Jim DeFeedy's trying to talk to him. So, yeah, look, there was no reason to do this. This was all set up in January when unfortunately we agreed to a one-person motion to vacate, which is frankly insane. A lot of us knew that this was a setup, that somehow in this first year somebody was going to make a motion to vacate. And frankly, you know, we shouldn't have expected any help from the Democrats. We didn't. There was 208 Democrats that voted to, you know, oust the Speaker, along with 8 Republicans. Now, 210 Republicans wanted to keep the Speaker. So you have a very, very small minority of 4% that went off the rails, and for some reason, led by Matt Gaetz, that really kind of causes chaos. And now we have to, you know, pick up the pieces and move forward. We will probably not. Well, I don't expect us to go back to the floor until we have full agreement that we have 218 votes for the next speaker. Whoever that speaker is, whether it be Scalise, whether it be Jordan, whether it be somebody else, we don't know. And so I expect that we're going to get into the conference on Tuesday. We're going to hash it out, yell and scream at each other. Well, 210 of us are going to yell and scream at 8, and then, you know, we'll work it out, because really it's people say we're really fractured. We're not. It's 210 of us against 8. And
that's good perspective there, because that's how people are viewing this.
That's right.
That leads to the next question here. Gaetz has been likened to the cancer of the Republican Party right now, but did he do, maybe this wasn't an entirely bad thing, exposing the fragility maybe of the Republican Party because it's not united? Say what you want about the Democrats. There's infighting, there's divide there, but at least they were unified. The Republican Party, not so much. Well,
look, the Republicans are different than Democrats, okay? It's like cats and dogs, okay? And so when Nancy Pelosi told, you know, in the last Congress said, sit, they all sat, all right? When Kevin McCarthy says us, you know, tells us to all sit, we go, meow. All right. So you know, we're just different. We have a, you know, we're a little bit more independent, and I frankly like it that way. I don't want to be, you know, everybody univision and all that. There's good. That there's people from, you know, the far right. There's people that are centrist. I'm a center right guy. We have difference of opinions, and we also represent different areas. You know, and so a Republican that represents Texas isn't the same as a Republican that represents the Great Lakes. You know, we have different interests. We have different constituencies. And so that's good. It's tough to, you know, kind of maneuver there, but I wouldn't say that we have these deep divisions. We agree on 90% of the things.
So you're saying you're not an all or nothing party,
oh, no,
right?
Not
Essentially.
at all.
But
no,
let me get to the next possible speaker, because that's key here. We saw former President Trump say that he wants Jim Jordan. Do you think that's going to happen? Is that a slam dunk because he's endorsed him?
No, it's not at all.
Why is that?
Because we're not unified like that, okay? Somebody tells us to sit, we don't sit, all right? And so I already know that there are a number of people that are backing Steve Scalise. Steve Scalise is the majority leader. He has a big constituency inside the party. Jim Jordan has, you know, a number of fans. I'm uncommitted. I'm a free agent right now, and so I like Jim Jordan. I like Steve Scalise. I like Tom Emmer. You know, there's a lot of people that we like. We have to coalesce. But I really like Kevin McCarthy, all right, which is the one we should have, which is the one that should be the speaker, because there's no reason for him not to be the speaker. And so, you know, we'll figure it out before it comes out. We will have a speaker, but it'll be up to us to kind of, you know, unify. Now the 210 that voted for Kevin McCarthy, some of us are with Jordan, some of us are with Scalise.
But it took a lot of votes to get Kevin McCarthy in,
well,
so it's just going to be another situation like that.
Yeah, but it only did that. Remember, again, we had 200. The conference had voted for Kevin McCarthy, and we had 200 that was solidly behind him, stayed with him for 15 rounds. We weren't going to go anywhere. And then finally the 20 or so started to, you know, peel off until we got to the end. And then unfortunately, in order to get over the finish line, we had to do this motion to vacate with one person, which I think was, well, I know huge mistake. One of the things that's the person who ends up being speaker is going to have to do, and I've said this publicly, we have to change that rule. That rule can no longer stand because that rule causes chaos for the party, but more importantly, chaos for the country. That's something that we can't tolerate.
Yeah, especially with voters watching right now, right?
Well, no, I mean the country can't tolerate it. We stop. Everything stops when there's no speaker.
Very true.
We can't do that. We have to continue our work. We were continuing on our way to 12 appropriation bills to get the budget passed, and then I'm not going to say what Mr. Gates is, but Matt Gates decided to throw this bomb inside the House, and for no reason whatsoever.
Can I ask you this before we have to let you go in the interest of time? Does this show that the Republican Party is not interested in bipartisanship? Because that was at the center of Kevin McCarthy's ousting, right? That he went across the line. He found a way to stop a government shutdown.
No, that wasn't it. That was the excuse. Okay.
Okay.
Had we had the 12 appropriation bills, had they all passed, et cetera, Matt Gates would have said, well, we didn't save enough money. We need to be more conservative. So that was all set up on that speakership back in January, changing that rule, and that they set this all in motion, especially Matt Gates and his little group set this all in motion. So I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe a word that Matt Gates says. And so the only division that I have in the Republican Party is my really, you can see how I dislike Matt Gates. And I was hoping he would run for governor so that I could stand down here and make sure he didn't get one vote down here in South Florida.
Ooh.
Strong words.
Yeah.
All right. Well, he
not
doesn't mince
mincing it
words
at all.
if you know that about
but
the
I love everybody else. Okay.
And he says it with a smile.
Thanks for being here this morning. We do appreciate it.
We do
Good
appreciate
stuff this
it.
morning.
Absolutely. He's a free agent, folks, as you heard.